Today's Pubcast question is about server-side tracking. Let's go.
Hi, John. Kim McCoy here from High Rise Promotions Ad Agency. My question is, can you give me tips on the easiest setup and integration for server-side tracking Conversions API? I mean, I know we can't live without it, so what's the most economical way for a brand to get this set up? Thanks.
This is a great question, Kim. So yeah, this is super important. First, let me explain what this means for those who don't understand terms like server-side tracking and Conversions API. So Meta needs data from us that announces when various conversion events happened. Now, initially that was done only with the website Pixel, which has been around for more than a decade. So we would create events for things like a purchase or a lead, and we'd send that event to Meta when someone completed that action, usually by loading a website page, because Meta doesn't know when that action happens otherwise. And this information is super important for a couple of reasons. Now, of course, you need it for reporting. You need Meta to be able to say that you spent $1,000 on ads and were able to generate 10 conversions. But it's also important for optimization. When Meta knows that someone performed the action that you want, the algorithm learns from it. Now, especially in these days of algorithmic targeting and less control, Meta can then search out more people like that who might perform that specific action. So the problem is that the website Pixel isn't nearly as dependable as it once was, for lots of reasons. This is due to things like privacy laws and browser settings and all kinds of stuff. Now, you should still use the Pixel, but it's not going to generate complete data for Meta. And that could lead to incomplete results and bad optimization. That's why you also want to send first-party data that you own to Meta. And this is done using the Conversions API. Now, I know, long story to get to the point. There are two primary types of data you might send via the API. Website data, which essentially piggybacks off of the Pixel, and customer data from your CRM. Now, the easiest step, which is what Kim was asking for, and I say easy with huge caveats, is the web API. The problem among many problems here is that the best way to set all this up really depends on your website. Because if you have an e-com website using Shopify and really several other potential partner integrations, there's an easy process for setting this up automatically. It's often just like a checkbox and not a whole lot more. Now, otherwise, if you don't have a website like that, and maybe you use GTM, or it doesn't even matter how you set up your Pixel, my preference is using the Conversions API gateway. And this is what I've done now for, 5 years or so. Doesn't matter how your Pixel or website is set up if you use the gateway. It will generate the same events that you've already created with the Pixel, deduplicate those events, which is important, and send via the Conversions API. So, easiest, cost-effective, which is what Kim wants here. Best route for setting this up is with Stape, which is STAPE.io. I don't have any affiliation with Stape, but I've used it for years now. It honestly takes a few minutes to set it up, and most advertisers can get away with spending only $10 per month. So sending server-side website events using the Conversions API gateway and Stape is a really good first step. The next, if you can, and if it's necessary, is sending CRM events. This could be especially useful if you collect leads, have a sales team that contacts your leads, and then a purchase is made over the phone. Because in that case, you're not sending website events. Meta doesn't know a purchase or some other conversion happened. Now, unfortunately, this could be a much bigger technical hurdle. But if you have a CRM that works with your website to set this up quickly and easily, once again, with an integration, that's the preferred method. Because otherwise, you got to worry about things like deduplication. If an event is sent both from your website and your CRM, Meta needs to know that they are the same event. And that's not an easy thing to make sure it happens. Otherwise, it's going to be counted twice, which creates all sorts of problems. One solution would be sending CRM events only for transactions that happen exclusively away from your website. Then there's no conflict there. Otherwise, something I've started doing is sending events using Make, that's MAKE.com, to set up scenarios using my CRM and the official Facebook Conversions API module. There's all kinds of other details that go into that, but it's doable, and I did it. So there are lots of potential pitfalls, and it's best if you hire someone with technical expertise to set this up and avoid those deduplication issues. But the more complete your data, the better Meta's optimization will be, and the more complete your results will be. And the truth is that the need to set this up will only increase as the pixel becomes less effective, which is going to happen. Thanks for your question, Kim. You want your question to be answered on a future episode? Send it my way. Go to jonloomer.com/question and record your question today. You may just be featured on a future podcast. Otherwise, thanks for joining me again today. Until next time, do awesome things. I'm out.